Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald of Second Swing Golf here in the Tour Van at Second Swing Minnetonka for another head-to-head driver comparison with two models here from 2024. So we've got Cobra DARKSPEED X and we've got Titleist GT2, and I have Jake Montgomery, fitting manager from the Minneapolis store, here with us today to do some testing. And Jake, a lot of excitement here recently with GT as we kind of are in the sort of the back half of 2024. That was big for us at Second Swing. Obviously, Titleist drivers, very exciting for us. But also, I think we're really excited about Cobra DARKSPEED in the sense of the potential for really good value for someone at the end of this year into next year that might be looking for a driver and not trying to spend a ton of money on something new. DARKSPEED is a great option. So we're going to kind of compare them head to head here and see what the differences might be.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, latest and greatest from Titleist. They have their new Thermoform Crown, which kind of helps them redistribute the weight in the bottom. They have kind of a split center of gravity, whereas this one uses a power bridge. Both have different weightings to help influence, launch, and spin. This one has the kind of AI hot face. This one has the speed ring with the VFT. So different face technologies, different weighting positions. But by the end of this year, this one's going to be at 650 and this one's going to be at close to 300. So this would be a great way to kind of show there is some value out there that isn't necessarily going top of the line brand new.
Right. And we have had a ton of success already, you know, with the GT driver fittings, right? I know we got a ton of great feedback from fitters there.
I'm already playing one.
Yeah, and you're already playing one, so you're endorsing that yourself. But, you know, it's one of those things, every time we talk to fitters about drivers and stuff, it's, the Titleist and the kind of the quote-unquote more popular brands come to mind, but then they always say something along the lines of, well, that Cobra, when it gets in the mix, it competes. So we wanted to bring it up in a test here today and see, how true that is. So talk about the shaft that we got in each one. I know 100%. It's the same model. It might look a little bit different, but it's because of we talked about this off camera, about the graphics on
100%.
It's the same shaft.
Cobra just has kind of a made-for graphic on their shaft this year for the Hazardous. Hazardous black, low launch, low spin shaft. This is in the 60-gram stiff, just because we had two matching pairs there. But yeah, exact same shaft, both playing at about 10.5, 11 degrees aloft. I have the GT2 set to 11. I've got the DARKSPEED set to 10.5.
Okay, so slight difference. We'll take note of that when we look at the numbers. But let's hit some shots.
Let's do it.
All right, GT. Off first here. And I know we're going to talk about look and stuff. There's a very distinct difference in the look of these two drivers.
For sure.
You got two sort of methods. You have a glossy black, very understated crown. Actually, kind of both are understated in their own ways. Cobra in the past has been very colorful. Go think back. What's it like that BioCell or AMP cell?
100%. I had an orange BioCell.
They had like the orange and the blue and the red and whatever. And they've kind of sucked all the color out now, and it's like here's just dark. Titleist, they've had that same kind of look for their drivers for a while now. TS, TSI, it's that shiny black. Not a lot going on. Pretty traditional in that regard.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're known for. I mean, even with them putting a different material in the crown of this driver, they really put a lot of time and effort into making it look like it's just the same old Titleist driver you've been using for the last 10 years.
It is funny how that works because Titleist is, they know people that are Titleist players like the way their drivers look. Cobra doesn't seem to have a problem mixing up the way their drivers look a little bit, which again, just different philosophies.
100%.
Face maybe slightly open there. Did draw back though for you. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
It always does, you know.
I know it's never going to start curving to the right.
Yeah. If there is one curving to the right, I'll ask if you're okay.
Yeah.
Jake plays a draw, and it's a draw that repeats almost every time. So some extra ball speed on that one.
Caught that one pretty well.
Yeah, interesting.
A little higher on the spin.
Spin went up a little bit there.
Might have been slightly in the heel.
Just a slight kind of blow on the as some of our fitters call it, kind of
quadrant
on
of death.
The quadrant of death is what Kevin calls it, where you hit it low heel.
And you lose all your distance.
You lose distance and you get increased spin.
That one felt pretty good.
Yep, ball speeds up.
There we go.
There you go. There it turns over for you, but still very much in the fairway.
That's going to be really right.
Mm.
I did not feel my hands close at all. Yeah.
It is right.
It is very right.
Yeah, 9.6.
Hands coming in 9.6 open, yeah.
Well, the ball did curve right. We just talked about you
It
not doing
did
that.
curve right. I finally left my hands more open than my path.
Well, you still got plenty of distance out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We got the dispersion to look at. We got some numbers to look at. What did you just think, first of all? I know you're playing a
Yeah.
GT, so we don't. I know you're comfortable with how it looks and how it feels, but can you just maybe give a summary of those aspects of the driver, both what you've experienced in these shots and also just playing one on the golf course?
Yeah, so I mean, feel-wise, it's similar to what I'm used to. It feels a little softer hitting the face than the Cobra does.
Yeah.
That's kind of more of a personal preference thing. I generally like a little softer face. Okay. More traditional look to it as well. It's a lot more rounded. DARKSPEED's going to have the kind of boat tail, as people like to call it, pushed a little further back at more of kind of an angle. The Titleist is very, very round from kind of toe to heel and around the back.
So it's almost triangular in a sense.
Yes, absolutely.
The DARKSPEED. You've seen that design before. It's kind of the super high MOI and a little bit of the aerodynamics playing to that as well, from what we hear anyway from manufacturers.
Yeah, I mean, it's to a much, much less dramatic effect, but kind of think like those OG TaylorMade burners back in the day, that kind of really pronounced tail at the end. It's not quite as big as that, but it kind of gives you the idea.
Yeah, it was like almost a sharp angle on the triangle. All right, 2,300 spin, 267 carry, 292 total. Those are pretty good numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the averages I'm all very happy with. Like, if someone's coming in for a fitting, 13 and 23, I'd be very happy to send them out the door with whatever model they're hitting for that.
Right.
Smash at 146, still pretty solid. Peak height at 103. Now, I think part of that was influenced by that last ball that went very high in the air.
Yeah, it went 129.
I'm sure my dynamic loft was extremely high on that guy. But, I mean, overall, I was pretty happy with what I saw. The numbers are typical to what I normally see with my driver.
I like this screen better because we don't have that ball that was out to the right. You just see the numbers. But okay, we got some good baseline data from the GT2. Let's go to DARKSPEED X here. Low bullet to start things out here with the DARKSPEED.
I am not shocked to see that spin rate as low as it is.
Yeah.
These DARKSPEEDs have just been extremely low spin drivers.
Would you expect DARKSPEED to be lower spin than GT2?
100%, absolutely.
Which low spin is, if you're trying to absolutely maximize distance, low spin's good, especially if you launch ball high enough. But also can help players that maybe do spin it too much, and there are a lot of them I know out there
100%.
that do need to reduce spin to keep the ball in play.
It's going to be a little right again.
Definitely launching lower again, too.
Yep.
Okay.
That was Healy, too. That was all me for why that spin came up.
Well, we've got kind of a big right miss with each club now, so we're evening the playing field a little bit, if you will.
That was better.
Another one launching lower. But there's your draw. It's on repeat. There it is again. I mean, it's the same thing. Now, because of the lower launch, the carry number is a little bit lower.
100%.
It's
and
going to be
spin
lower.
rate. It's just not staying in the air.
Yeah. Ooh. Went after that one a little bit, it looked like. Had some extra speed. All right. So I haven't looked at head-to-head numbers yet. Launch was absolutely lower.
Yes, 100%.
On average, had to be.
Yep.
Talk to me about, before diving into the numbers, just the difference in maybe feel and look that you saw from the two drivers.
Yeah, I mean, this felt a lot firmer off the face again, a lot more responsive. I could kind of tell, like, if I was hitting it more heel side, more toe side, high on the face.
Which is that's a valuable trait to
100%.
have. I mean, for a lot of golfers, having that feedback is going to be valuable for improvement, really.
Yeah, both drivers look very clean. Like, I could happily throw either of these in the bag. The shaping's a little bit more a little different, but I mean, Cobra knocked it out of the park as far as their aesthetics go this year.
I know.
The driver just looks so clean at the ball. The face almost kind of like melts in with the rest of the driver, where it just kind of looks like one sleek unit there. Definitely a little longer boat tail, a little sharper edge to it, but overall, I mean, the driver looks very, very comfortable, easy to hit.
Yeah. So, talked about launch.
Yep.
2 degrees difference, which is pretty significant.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing is it's going to work for, you know, if there's a player that launches the ball very high, which there are plenty of them. You hit the ball really high with your driver. I think in this particular head-to-head, DARKSPEED might be the better option for you.
Yeah.
I like, too, that we've got the dispersion. I mean, I would say a little bit wider dispersion with DARKSPEED. Obviously, it looks that way. But you got a little bit more distance with DARKSPEED, too. If we're talking about your 2 longest shots of the day. You cleared 300 twice, and it was with DARKSPEED both times.
One thing I want to point out, too, if we expand the numbers again, my carry was about 8 yards shorter, and my total distance was within half a yard.
Yeah.
Just because that lower spin is allowing it to roll and catch up, whereas the GT was kind of just landing further down range and stopping a little bit faster.
Right.
I mean, the peak height on the two of them was 20 feet apart, and then we're still ending up at pretty much the same total distance.
We should note, too, the course conditions will play a bit of a factor there as well. So if you're playing on maybe it hasn't rained in a few weeks and it's a little bit dry, you'll probably see in this particular test DARKSPEED would be even further.
Yeah, it'd just roll forever.
And then vice versa, if it rained for 2 days straight, you're on a soft golf course, GT2 is probably going to give you more distance.
Yep.
So that obviously that plays into it a little bit as well. But I think what I'm going to, based on this information here, I think pretty good stuff from DARKSPEED in the sense that it distinguishes itself compared to GT2 as a lower launching option, potentially some more distance to be had.
Yeah.
We got a little bit lower spin there as well. GT2 though was very consistent. You have that kind of tighter north to south dispersion, which is very valuable for the player that's just looking for consistency off the tee. And then of course, in a fitting environment too, you get with both drivers, you can dial them in. Yeah. Adjustable hosel. We can talk about all that type of thing. So really good stuff from both drivers though. I mean, it really is, like, right now is a great time to be in the market for a new driver.
Absolutely.
There's so many options. And then we talk about value too. We mentioned, at second swing, ton of availability of DARKSPEED right now. So it's a great time to be, again, looking for a driver.
For sure.
Anything else that you're going to add here, Jake, as the fitting expert with us today with these two drivers?
I mean, I would say, just want to reiterate, for the guy that swings more across the ball, hits kind of like a high, real cutty shot, this driver's been fantastic, especially like if you take the 9 degree, loft it up to 1.5 degrees added, so like 10.5.
Yeah. It
shuts the face. It's still super low spin. It helps take a lot of that curve off and just gets you a lot better trajectory overall in your shots. If you're someone that struggles with a spinny right miss, I would definitely look at this Cobra driver.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an awesome value. And we're filming this here at the end of, well, I guess in October here pretty much of 2024. It's going to be an awesome option the rest of this year and into 2025 for players. Great value. So DARKSPEED X or GT2, schedule a fitting, a second swing. We'll get you dialed in, hitting longer, straighter bombs off the tee, which is always fun. And then you shoot lower scores. So, Jake, thanks for spending the time with us today.
No problem.
Testing.